But from what her father said about Kinsey, Esther fears the details of her abuse may have been used in his second book, Sexual Behaviour in the Human Female. In a section dealing with sex between adults and children, Kinsey claimed to have evidence that children can enjoy abuse.
The adult contacts are a source of pleasure to some children, and sometimes may arouse the child erotically and bring it to orgasm. It is difficult to understand why a child, except for its cultural conditioning, should be disturbed at having its genitalia touched.
But for Esther, some memories are so painful they stand out even 50 years later.
My school was going to have a little operetta. When I got on stage, I was so scared because I knew what was going to happen on the way home. My father put me in the back seat and, of course, continued to sexually abuse me. But I looked out the back window and there was a gorgeous, beautiful moon and stars. And it's very difficult to say it. I'm sorry. It was a very painful memory to remember. But I was crying so hard that the tears were running into my eye, out of my eyes and down into my ears. And I was crying and my sinuses were so filled up I couldn't breathe. And my ears were filling up with water. And I just had a fear, I'm going to die.
Surely the way to get information on children's sexuality is not by asking men who have a vested interest in saying children are sexual and they enjoy being sexual.
Nobody has said that the best way of getting information about childhood sexuality is by talking to paedophiles. Kinsey didn't say that. He simply reported some information of that kind because he thought it was worthy of consideration.
Based on Kinsey's writings, he approved fully and wholly of adult-child sexual interactions, what he called play or interactions. Not only that, he recommended that adults could effectively aid children in better sexual lives by giving them quote-unquote orgasms at a very early age.
Without help from more experienced persons, many pre-adolescents take a good many years to discover masturbatory techniques that are sexually effective. It is probable that half or more of the boys in an uninhibited society could reach climax by the time they were 3 or 4 years of age.
In his final years, Kinsey would testify before legislatures and courts that pedophilia was a less dangerous problem than public intolerance of it.
Kinsey said some of the most brilliant things imaginable about that. Pedophilia is an almost non-existent kind of crime, and the thing that he hated most about it is that people use words like child molestation. What is that? Nobody knows. Abuse of children, are they talking about bollocks them against the ear or hitting them with a stovepipe? Are they talking about tickling them a little? Are you talking about fondling? You're going to put fondling and death attacks in the same group? As Kinsey said, by this kind of paranoia, you do the child more damage for life than all the pedophiles in the world would do.
Pedophiles are Very sad people. I think the fact that they're even taking the information from a pedophile perpetuates the abuse. It glorifies it to that pedophile.
Esther White wants an independent inquiry into Kinsey's involvement with pedophiles, and an investigation of the child abuse diaries still locked inside the Institute.
Those archives need to be opened up so people can understand that if they feel they were connected with the Kinsey Institute, that they can go back and know for sure.
But Kinsey's surviving colleagues say their original promises of confidentiality make this impossible.
We were asking people to put their careers and their marriages on the line by talking to us. To ask them to place that much trust in us, we had to be absolutely trustworthy. We were willing to go to jail if need be, or destroy the records if need be. We've thought about that on several occasions.
What, destroying the records?
Yeah. Because I even thought about it recently when some of the politicians started getting interested in the Institute. And there was a senator from Texas that wanted a congressional investigation of the Institute and its records. Then there was a local senator in Indiana, Burton. He wanted the Institute investigated. You know, they all said, oh, you probably have, case histories of sex criminals, and we'd like to get those records so we could catch these people, that sort of. And when they start talking like that, then we seriously think, what would happen if we started facing court orders, or if search people came in with a warrant to seize what we had. Yeah, so we've made precautions.
What sort of precautions?
All we have to do is destroy the code and some card files, and that does it. Then the case histories are absolutely unreadable.
The Kinsey Institute says it will not destroy its records. It is republishing both of Kinsey's original volumes, including all the material provided by pedophiles.
They're going to be republished. I would like to stop that. I don't know how to do it, but I would like to do that. They used me, and they used those children. And that's a terrible way to feel that you've been used for a lie.